I think we're on.
So
Uh, okay, that was enough of that. So what do we um yeah, what do we I've watched a couple YouTube videos where I think it's Kate and no uh Kyle and Evelyn and and they start from the very beginning. Like they just have their cameras up and they're like, well, if we're gonna do this, should we get a table? What should we do? And one of their videos is just putting everything together. Like you watch them figure things out and hear them talk it out. And I don't know, it's kind of interesting. I guess you kind of learn from some of their startup conversations. Uh,
yeah,
Not that we're gonna have all of our startup content out there, but you never know. I mean, if I ever figure out how to combine the audio and video together and get it to somebody who can edit it and upload it, get the RS, what is it, a RSS feed?
yeah,
Um, we might be we might be on. I actually looked at green screens
yeah,
on uh, Amazon the other day, like $15 for a green screen fabric or something. I think I might turn the desk and have it here. I don't know where I'm gonna do.
yeah. Put it up against your wall right there.
Yeah.
The green screen, that is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have a screen that's like it looks like wood. Um, and it's fine, but I'd rather have, I mean, I got a real background back here that looks fine. I'm gonna put a behind the guitar there.
Hmm.
There it is. I'm gonna put a like a word that I'll change periodically because it's right on display and it's over my shoulder here, so you could see it.
Sure.
And I'll put a word on display there. It's too bad my head's like in this pocket right there. That little hole in the room is kind of weird.
Yeah.
But
I was learning a little bit about green screens and how you have to have lighting and how you have, but then what you can do with it in the video editing format is pretty cool if you're kind of getting into the video aspect of of our YouTube podcasts. Because once we do go live or go virtual or whatever this is called, um, might as well be on as many different. If we have content that is valuable to anybody, my wife's kind of asked me several times, "What do you guys talk about? What do you do? Who wants to listen to you?" I mean, they got Joe Rogan on there. You got all kinds of different people on YouTube. Why would someone click on you guys?
right.
Is it gonna be our title? Is the title of our show? I mean, I mean, when I go on YouTube, I hit search and I search learning plumbing or learning uh, laminate flooring. And then I scroll through all the people that have done video content to laminate flooring. So every title of though our show might have a title and we would have a subscription thing, every show would have a title. That way, if you searched, and then at the end, do we determine, hey, you know what? We really talked about um, vehicles. Maybe we talked about our vehicles in the past and what we have now, and how different they've been. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think topic wise, it's whatever is I, whatever is really relevant right now that people are struggling with that we can kind of speak to from a biblical angle and then speak to it from our experiences and stories. I mean, that's kind of what I'm thinking is, what's relevant right now. People's lives are super disrupted, and they're just anxious and tired of dealing with this thing. They're just over it. Like, I don't know anybody that's not over it. Everybody's over it. So it's like, how is that reflected in scripture? Is that when the Israelites are like calling out to God saying, please release us from these enemies. Let us stop being slaves, you know?
Yeah,
And then of course they want to go back to being slaves once they're in the desert wandering around.
Right? I
So that
mean,
was
that is the whole he frees them from Israel or from the Pharaoh and off they go. And how long are they free before they start complaining?
yeah, yeah. I think it's like they before they even cross the Red Sea, they start whining. So
Oh, history repeats itself in so many different areas.
yeah, there's this book I'm reading called The Paradigm, and it's by this guy named last name Khan. I can't remember his first name, but he he writes about these paradigms from scripture where you've got, like, for example, King Ahab is the king that really opened the door to pagan worship, allowing Baal in and allowing Ashtoreth and the Shira poles and all these things. Well, Baal was a god he's a pagan god, but was a very sexual god and child sacrifice god. So those were the two things. Well, in modern times, he equates it, and it's crazy in terms of timeline. Time the guy was in uh, office versus the time the king was in his position, and then he has his own queen Jezebel that comes in from a different region, and she really brings it on. So anyway, long story short is the direct connection, and the crazy direct connection, is Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton. And like them, Bill was the one that stopped all the, like, wrote the executive order that stopped the protections against abortion, and Hillary really championed it her whole, and still has, and she's been a champion of feminism her whole career. Um, and there's things where Ben Haddad had a chance to come in and attack Israel, and he ended up doing that. Well, that happened with Osama bin Laden. Same name, basically, same character, same all these things, which is crazy. But I found out that Clinton had 9 opportunities to kill bin Laden, 9 opportunities before 9/11. It's crazy. But just history repeats itself, and it repeats itself very, very, very specifically. Uh,
Yeah, I think the books are The Harbinger, right?
yeah, that's another one. Yeah,
Yeah, I read both of those ones.
yeah,
There's a lot of
sketchy.
you can connect the dots everywhere. Boy, are we in the end times? We
Yes, we are, because that's what Jesus has said. Like, after he was resurrected, he starts talking about that we are. The kingdom is near.
Earth is just kind of going through birthing pains, just like a woman gives birth. There's a
Right.
lot of growth that happens, a lot of things that happen, and then the contractions start, and you just see everything all around. Boy,
Yep.
tsunamis, weather, leaders. It's it can be it can be consuming. I've actually talked with several different people lately that have been consumed by the not so much conspiracy theory, but linking these lines of communication that God has said are going to happen with other people that have written about, oh, here, you know, it's coming, we're looking at this, and all of a sudden we can totally get focused on that, and it can really debilitate our lives. And now you're unless you have a true solid foundation that Jesus Christ is in control of everything, um well, then where's the joy in life, because you're so freaked out,
Right.
if all you're doing is staying focused on all these theories, and that, oh, Jesus is coming tomorrow. Well, it could be, but you could still enjoy ice cream. you know, you could still enjoy going to the water slides until those days come, right?
Yeah.
Um, because there's not going to be much we're going to have to say about it when it comes, right? If you have faith in Christ,
Bye.
yes, new, different world. What's it going to be? How, I mean, to to take these 3 pound brains that we have and try to imagine what God has in store for us, we can't even come close to doing it any justice. But looking at the size of this world, who says that God couldn't make this type of a world 5 times bigger? Right? I mean, to house all, I mean, when it says that not, there's a small amount that actually come to be with the Lord, still that's a large amount of people compared to the large amount that are kindling. Um, but I guess this world is big enough, isn't it? Or if he wanted to make it bigger, he could.
Well, it's interesting because in scripture, the new heavens and new earth is a cube, and it's basically 1,400 feet, 1,400 miles. I think, if I remember correctly, it's 1,400 miles wide, 1,400 miles tall, and 1,400 miles long. So it's a cube, and um, that's the new location for us.
And where is that in scripture?
Revelation.
That it's a cube?
Yeah.
I remember reading that, but
Yeah, it's stata. Stata, I think, is the word that's used.
oh,
But I've read about that this cube could fit. It's like some ridiculous amount of people. It's like 10 billion people, and everybody would have like 10 acres of land or something, because
oh,
it's not flat. It's we don't live in 3 dimensions. We live in more than 3 dimensions. Like we can move in more than 2 dimensions, more than 3 dimensions. And because if you think about, if it's eternity, time is not something that exists. So then there's some other dimension that we need to be a part of, that we're a part of, for that to be a reality.
or a cube to be, at least the way we know science now.
Yeah.
We know little.
Yeah. I mean, scientists are already saying that or physicists are saying that there's 10 dimensions, and that they're very confident exist. Okay. Well, if those dimensions exist and we're going to be fully known, then we're going to be a part of every dimension that exists.
Wow.
So whatever that is, I don't know, but
And when we're there, our minds are just gonna go, wow. I, yeah, it'll be yeah, to think about when we were in third grade, how little we knew about the world. I mean, what little there is, I mean, the amount of knowledge and information that there is out there in the world today as it exists, to think about how much of it you know when you're in third grade. And and this time frame of our lives, 70, 85 years, is going to equate to a day in third grade. So
yeah.
the amount of information that you consumed and have the ability to know and could regurgitate on a piece of paper, what we know now, and it is an immense amount of information that we have at our fingertips, um, is that small compared to what there is to know
Right.
and how
Right.
much we don't know. Um,
Yeah, it's great. I don't know if humbling is the right word, but I guess it makes you think, what do I need to be focusing on then? Because if everything is at your fingertips in terms of knowledge, if you want to learn French, go for it. You can do it for free beginning today. If you want to learn particle physics, you can go for it. You can begin learning it starting today, and for a long time it can be free. I mean, so on and so forth. Like any topic you can possibly think of, you can learn starting today, and learn it for free, and make it a profession that you can get paid well in. Any
yeah,
topic you want. It doesn't matter. Everything from like how to grow grass really well to particle physics and brain surgery. I mean, what?
you just decide what it is you want to learn and be in.
Yep.
Ew. Yeah.
And then I was Do you know Tracy? What's his first name? I don't remember his first name, but anyway, there's this guy, last name Tracy. He's a leadership speaker guy, and he was talking about um, how to set goals and those types of things. And one of the things that he was teaching is that whatever your goal is, you have to write it down, actually write it down on paper, and then write down every single step that you think you need to take to accomplish it. And he said that that's the secret. If you do that and you start following those steps, you'll achieve your goals. It's as simple as that. And I'm like, it is. It really is. But then you have to choose the right steps and the right goal, because you like, what's the proverb, or I think I don't remember who said it, but basically, if you climb the ladder, but the ladder is up against the wrong building, then, it's not a good thing.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, I guess when it comes,
having goals are pretty important. Or I don't know whether or not we wrote a ton of goals down when it came to business and life, my wife and I mean, I guess maybe we had a few things set, like, oh, we wanted a house, we wanted to move. When we started the business, it was really just stay focused and keep working. The goal was show up.
yeah,
And
yeah,
do the activity. As long as you're active in doing the activity, you can meet those goals if you have them set.
yeah, yeah. It's more, I mean, the goals are good, but it's the habit that's better. Because once you set your goal, if you haven't developed the habit, then you're kind of back to the beginning. But if you established a great habit. Today's episode is brought to you by
Precision.
Energy.
Yeah.
So Precision Energy.
Yeah. Did you notice there's no cup of coffee?
Whoa.
I am Monday will be 2 weeks no coffee. Yeah. So
wow.
No coffee, no creamer. So kind of cut out a lot of sugar because I was doing French vanilla creamer, as you witnessed me pour in that French vanilla creamer every time we went out to a restaurant. Boy, how many years ago was that?
Well, that and your ketchup consumption is pretty remarkable.
Oh, ketchup. That's another sugar intake.
Yeah, you like some ketchup.
So 2 weeks of a massive amount of sugar decrease, 7 pounds in 1 week.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask what happened. Awesome.
7 pounds in 1 week.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
You and I are both on a weight loss journey.
Are you on a weight loss journey too?
Yeah, I'm down 9 pounds.
Yeah. You didn't have weight to lose.
Yeah, dude, I weighed 200 pounds.
What?
Yeah.
I didn't see it on you.
I'm 5'9", man. I shouldn't weigh 200 pounds.
Yeah.
I should weigh 175.
I should weigh 200 pounds.
So my goal is 180. It's on my board right here. 180 by June 21st or by June 1st. So I don't know why I wouldn't get there. It might be actually a little bit too long. I might need to shrink it down to like May 1st. But anyway, I haven't been 180 since college.
I haven't been 180 since 8th grade. I want to say.
Were you chunky or just thick?
No, I was my size 9th grade.
Oh, okay. You're a big
height wise. I was 6 foot, hit 6 foot. My basketball coach was like, "This is awesome," because he saw me at Lenny Wilkins basketball camp back in the 80s, early 80s, and he was
Lenny
like,
Wilkins, crazy.
He's gonna be a Tom Chambers, Jack Sikma,
right?
6 foot in 8th grade. He's coming to my high school, so he kind of recruited me. I ended up being on varsity my freshman year of high school, and but come my junior year, my senior year, he's got to be looking at me going, "What? You're smoking too much pot." That's what it is. It's stunning.
You never know. That could be part of it.
It could have been because my kid's 6'7".
Yeah.
Yeah. Ian is 6'7".
does weed stunt growth? You know, right?
No, I want to say that I guess that theory goes out the window because
Because you're is what I'm saying.
he smoked weed too.
Oh,
I
got
don't
it.
know whether or not he started it as early as I did. He he didn't grow up in an environment where it was readily available. He actually had to be um, going to kids' house where it was, which is what I did too, but it was also available in my house early, third grade.
Oh wow.
Third grade.
Yeah.
Smoke pot for the first time in third grade.
Oh wow.
Out of a plastic bubble pipe. How long do you think that lasted?
Oh, you were smoking more plastic than you were pot.
Probably. I'm sure there's a piece of resin in there somewhere.
Oof.
Just yeah.
As I have a herbalist client, and she was talking about how lots and lots and lots of people have, well, everybody basically has a ton of microplastic in their body because we consume plastic all the time. I mean, I make these meal replacement shakes basically every day, one a day, which has helped me with my weight loss. And I use an immersion blender. They're freaking fantastic. So I put it in the immersion blender, but it's in a plastic cup. And then if you look at the bottom of the cup, it's all scratched up. And it's just from me putting the immersion blender in there, not the blade of the blender, but the edges of the blender. Well, where did that plastic go? Into me. I didn't dump it down the drain. I drink directly from that cup that I mix it in because I don't have more dishes. And so I'm getting a little bit of plastic every time I drink from that cup because it scratches up the surface. So,
Well, how about your pancake flipper? And
oh, the spatula?
the spatula melts.
Yeah.
Sometimes chunks of pieces of that. I mean, most of the time I do it over the sink, when I'm washing it, and I go, oh gosh, hopefully that didn't make it in our food,
But it did.
but it probably did. Yeah.
Yeah, between that and hair, I'm consuming some funky things in my house.
Well, and you got 4 girls in your house. You probably got a hairball somewhere in there.
Yeah, plus a dog. So,
Oh yeah.
yeah. I mean, I could sit here for 20 minutes pulling on this vest, pulling off hair. I'm literally. So, anyway. Yeah. So I guess what's the spiritual right now? What's your spiritual like frustration that you're experiencing?
Spiritual frustration.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've had people ask me that before. What are you frustrated? What? I really don't come up with much. There isn't anything that I'm frustrated about. I don't. I think I'm kind of a bottle it up kind of guy. Maybe I guess my experience has probably been if there's tension, it's not readily out there. It's probably being concealed some way, and then maybe I'm not being real about it, and and then the straw that breaks the camel's back, and I blow up, and I don't really know what it was that I blew up about. But spiritual frustration, I, I got nothing. I mean, things have been going really well spiritually. Um, Yesterday, another fantastic day. I must have prayed for, I don't know, 4 or 5 different people on the phone. And I don't know how the Lord just continues to do it. It's just phone call after phone call after phone call, opportunity to pray. And it's action. You got to do the action. You got to be listening, and then just do it. And I think once I've gotten into the habit of it, it's almost the way that I end every phone call.
Mm.
And I say, hey, I know you got to go. Your time's important, and I'll let you go. I'll pray for us, and then we'll say goodbye. And and I and I pray on the phone with clients that I aren't even my clients yet. But a lot of times they're calling because they've had rotator cuff surgery or eye surgery or something's going on in their lives. So spiritual frustration, I not a whole lot. I mean, we have been so blessed. Um, I don't even know if there's anything I could put down on the list. Um, like life frustration. I think I don't know what you think about all the vaccines and everything. We're not concerned about the vaccines. I mean, I watched a Instagram thing the other day, and I thought it was just the gal nailed it perfect. And the question was, "So, are you worried about what's in the vaccine?" And her response was, "Well, I ate like 5 pieces of American cheese this last week, and I don't really know what's in that either." So, I mean, there's a lot of trust that we have in some of the food consumption that we do on our everyday lives. When you squirt toothpaste out on your toothbrush, you don't know what's it. Well, I mean, you have the ability to read on the back, but you just trust that what's in that tube is toothpaste and not preparation H. um, how that would be yuck. But so Denise and I have gotten our first shots, but Paige, our daughter, she's at higher risk. We're caregivers. I would imagine your wife's probably gotten her shot, and have you guys gotten yours? No. Um, so she's still, I think she's 1C or 1B because she's young, even though she's high risk because of her lung capacity, um, she can't get it yet.
Weird.
I know.
Doesn't make any sense. Like you shouldn't have gotten it before her.
Right. Well, although the caregivers are 1A,
I get it, but like
but because
they're
of
not
her,
compromised.
right.
So anyway, it's all jacked up. Yeah, my parents wrapping up theirs. I think they're already done. Carrie's done with both. She got pretty yucky feeling. But
The second one.
yeah, but that, I mean, people are concerned about that, but your body is supposed to react to a virus by getting yucky because that's how it defends itself. So I don't know. I mean, I haven't had a flu shot since I was like 18 years old. And so for me, I'm like, do I need this one? Because I haven't needed any of the other ones. So what's the point? And it's already, and plus the original virus that came out, it's already mutated a bunch of times. So I'm not saying that this vaccine won't be effective because of that. What I'm saying is
We're going to need to have these extra boosters.
what I mean, what,
Or does it stop?
yeah, and so I'll get it, I guess, if I need to, but I don't know. And is it going to be, if a flu comes back from a previous flu season, am I going to die because I didn't have the shot from that time? No, they'll make another shot. And if for some reason the world's going to pot at the time, I'm probably going to die anyway. So who cares? So so I don't know.
I think what I've heard in terms of the vaccine with even a couple of them is um, those who have received it, one of them 100%, none have been hospitalized. They've received and come in contact with the virus and have actually had the COVID virus, but not been hospitalized because the vaccine has probably done its job and allowed you to have some immunity built up in order to fight what's going on, what's entered your body. I don't know. Is it like giving yourself a defense mechanism to battle something that might come your way? I think that's how I understand it. Is it's just building up that immunity,
Right. Yeah, I don't know how it
even
works.
when it comes.
I'm not, I don't have enough knowledge to be against or for, and I don't, if I need to get it because it seems like I should do that, then okay. But I can't, I am so far down the list.
Right.
mid-30s, really, really
30s, no health concerns, no.
nobody in my family has any health concerns. Nobody in my extended family has any health concerns. I'm not a caregiver. Like I am like one of the last people to get it.
Right.
So maybe to 2022, I'll have access. But at this point, I mean, literally maybe 2022, because Washington is doing a terrible job of distributing these shots. There hasn't been very many distributed. It's like 4,000 people have fully gotten the shot in Whatcom County. So
Is it
it's,
really that
yeah,
way?
it's really bad.
Oh.
So there, I
Oh,
don't know.
I've been called twice. But I had already gotten a shot.
Yeah, see, it's all messed up. You shouldn't be called twice.
No,
It doesn't make any sense, especially since you already got it.
Yeah.
It's, man, government is terrible at their job. So bad, so bad. It's embarrassing. You couldn't, if they were a business, bankruptcy multiple times over
They'd
already.
be fired.
Oh my gosh, every single last one of them would have been fired by now. It's crazy. And even for those that are capable,
pretty good at criticizing, right? I mean, I'm a pretty good critic. I think maybe there's a few times I'd like to say, give them a break.
Well, sure. I think what's unfortunate is there's some really capable people in the government, but there's some really incompetent people. Just like in any business, there's incompetent people, and then those incompetent people really hose those that are capable, and those that are capable wash out, or they don't get to live up to the level that they could, and it's frustrating.
I'm on the board at North Coast Credit Union, and last year was it in 2020? No, it wasn't 2020. So it was 2019. We went to it's called GLA, or it's a conference in DC, and they really encourage a lot of credit union board members to get together. And it was a huge conference, 5,000 plus board members go to meet their congressperson and to make sure that credit unions are not, because I think they're tax exempt. Like banks are taxed, but credit unions are they're member owned, and so that we really are making sure that things don't change. Well, actually getting to meet your congressperson, oh my gosh, it is pathetic getting to meet somebody and then meeting them for 2 minutes, stating your case, pleading your what have you, and then you're off because there's somebody else coming in. And it's like, how does anything get done?
It makes, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
It's, I don't know. Though there's probably a lot of people that are like, oh no, that conference is super duper important. Our Congress people need to know. And yes, they do. 5,000 people marching down there to, I guess,
hotels.
Yeah.
Well, it makes me think of a scene in a kingdom where the king is sitting on his throne or the queen sitting on her throne, and these peasants come up and say, this is what we need. And they're like, okay, move on, next. Oh, I judge your case to be you're guilty. I'm not going to do that for you. I'll do that for you. I'm not going to do that. Meanwhile, in the background, there's these advisors that are giving them money and lobbying for things and perks and all this stuff. And that's who they're really answering to. Meanwhile, our whole country is actually run by the tech industry anyway. So this is all a waste of time. It's stupid anyway, because it's really the tech industry. Clearly, I mean, when you can smash social media channels and smash free speech because you don't like what people are saying on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram and Google and Amazon and all those people, they just go, nope, sorry, you can't use our servers. We're going to shut you up. How is that freedom of speech, right? Well, because it's on private servers. Wow. Where are we going? The conservative voice is being...
And then the flip side could be like, all right, let's say you and I were the founders of Instagram.
Uh-huh.
You and I own Instagram. We have freedom of speech, right?
Hmm.
Who's to say that I can't? It's our Instagram.
Right. No,
I,
I get it.
I could shut it down if I don't want you on there. Then you and I are the owners of Instagram. We could say you're off,
And they do.
and they do. Yeah. So it's just you got to figure out what social media that that loves and serves the Lord that allows you. Because if
The problem is that what's available. So you get places like Parler, which is a conservative um, platform, but Parler got canceled by Amazon because they're like, you can't be on our servers. You have 24 hours to back up your data and leave. Now you can't get on Google servers either because they have the same thing and they've been allowing one. So now there's no place for them to be because you have to create a whole new infrastructure of servers for it to work. And then it's really, really difficult to do that because of the monster mega ones that exist now. So then there needs to be a grassroots restart of that type of industry.
yeah,
That allows for conservative voice. So it's really fascinating, sketchy,
yeah.
but
Wouldn't it have been yeah, some of those founders of some what TV shows do you watch? Do you watch This Is Us?
we watch one show.
One show?
Yeah,
What is it?
Burn Notice.
What?
It's called Burn Notice. It's old. The last show aired in 2011 or 2013, maybe.
Oh, is it on Netflix or something?
It's on Amazon. Yeah.
Yeah. Burn Notice.
Yeah.
Is it pretty good? How many seasons?
8,
Oh,
7 or 8. It's a spy show. It's really good. It's not like laced with sin and sex and cursing or none of that stuff.
none of that stuff.
No.
How would you watch it?
It has some, but it's very subdued. There hasn't been a single boob in 6 seasons, like it's just, or at least exposed one. So it's just, I watched that, and then Carrie and I watched that, and then I watched Psych on my own, which is also an old show.
Mhm.
And it's the same thing. It's campy, it's funny, it's silly, it's not grossly sexual. So that when you go to bed and your wife's not home because she works at night, you're not going thinking about whatever you just watched. Instead you just giggled for 45 minutes and then you go and read a little bit and go to sleep. It's so much better than whatever else you could watch.
We've been watching This Is Us, which is it's airing now. I mean, they're doing
Right.
COVID scenes and different, but the storyline is pretty cute. It kind of goes back and forth and in time with families and the directors, I think doing a great job. I mean, if I'm going to be a critic, I'm like 2 thumbs up on This Is Us TV show. I'm a crier, right? So boy, there's a few commercials that, I'll see and go, oh my gosh, my tears are coming out. But so this show really gets me going. But there's this last episode I watched was uh a husband and wife meeting one another, and this guy was just focused on business, and this gal had come out of a bar or some scene, and she asked who he was, and they end up getting together and being husband and wife and having a baby and everything, and you kind of want, because this couple has not been part of any of the seasons ever. Just out of the blue is this new couple, and you have no idea who they are or what they're, now how are they going to tie into this storyline, and uh and then he ends up coming home late at like 9:30 at night, and she's at the table and she is giving him the what for, because you were going to be home at 6. I wanted you to be home at 6 to have pizza with your son. What is it that's so important that you didn't come home till 9:30 at night? And he goes on and on about all the algorithms and this certain stuff, and he's talking science and he's talking technology, and she's like, speak to me so I can understand it like I'm a 4-year old, because he was supposed to have dinner with his 4-year old, and she's going to now have to explain to him why he wasn't at dinner. And it turns out he's the guy that has done all of this, created the algorithms and stuff that allows video conferencing and iPhone stuff. And he explains it to her, and it's just like, ah. and in the whole show, you got two of the kids they're having babies, right? One family is having a baby and another one's having a set of twins, and the grandparents are at the cabin and they're not able to be there because of COVID, and because of what he created, they were able to be there. It was like, oh man,
Yeah.
the sacrifices that he did, to enable us to all communicate with this video was wow. Um, pretty amazing. But the way he explained it to her, and then her reaction was like, "Oh, that is going to be awesome." And then they showed a clip of them at the end, and they're older; they're in their 70s, but 70s or 80s. Um, but wouldn't that just be you? The Lord puts some knowledge in your mind that enables you to not to wire that. Do I have any wires plugged in? My internet is wireless. Like, you and I are communicating with video and no wires. Right? I mean, this is
Right.
we were, although, you know what? We were seeing this type of thing on Star Trek when we were little kids, right? I mean, there was the imagination of the directors in movies and stuff were putting out some of this. So somebody knew something. Um, yeah. So what we're seeing on some of the sci-fi movies, there's like, wow, can't wait till we have cars that drive. George Jetson,
Yeah.
airplanes that fly without pilots. Wait a minute, that's kind of happening.
Well, yeah. I mean, airplanes fly with autopilot all the time, and then cars already drive without a passenger. Google has like logged over 1 million miles in their driverless car without without any accident that they caused. The car's been in accidents, but it's never been the car's fault. It's been the fault of drivers around them.
Hey, is that a Google car?
Meanwhile, GM is trying to go to all electric. You know what's really interesting about the whole all electric thing, and well, I don't want to go down that path, but anyway. So I was thinking in terms of a focus for us. I think that what if the focus of the show was being a Christian in the marketplace, and that is, so when we have a show, there's a question about, so I have an employee and she's not a Christian, or I have this frustration I'm dealing with this customer, or I'm a mom and pop place and I'm not quite sure how to be a good witness to my family when I've got a bunch of non-believers that work for me or whatever. I don't know what the questions would be, but it's like, to me, if we can have the central theme be about a specific thing, and then every show answers one question. It's like Andy Stanley. I don't have it up here right now, but Andy Stanley has this thing where it's called Communicating for Change. And his thing is, what's the one thing that you need to communicate to them? And answer these 5 questions. What do they need to know? Why should they know it? What are they going to do about it? And why should they do something about it? Right? Those are the 4 things that you answer. And then obviously throughout all of that, you're inserting what God's role is and the relationship piece there. but it all points to that one specific topic, so that when people walk away, the title of the show is title of the episode, I should say, is praying with coworkers, or starting a Bible study in your workplace, or speaking the truth in your workplace, or different belief systems. How do you deal with so on and so forth? And then we could easily have guests on that have expertise in that they've done something like that. Like I have a buddy that has started a Bible study in a government job. He started a Bible study. I'm sure it's not going now because of COVID, but he did it for like 2 years.
Fellowship of Christian Athletes started some Bible studies when my kids were in high school at Ferndale High School. We met in the locker room, in the gym. It was great. I've had conversations with the CEO at the credit union about communication about Christ and having faith in Christ. And she's kind of said, the topic of conversation's not really allowed. And her perspective was, if I allow Christianity to be talked about, then I have to allow Buddhism to be talked about. I have to allow all of these different things to be talked about. And I'm like, so you can't have conversation about certain topics? I mean, really, I think the important aspect with conversation and communication is that we don't impose anything on anyone, whatever topic it might be about. I mean, if you are into witchcraft and you want to talk about witchcraft,
go for it.
Go for it, right? I mean, now you want to impose your belief of witchcraft on me. Well, now there's a boundary, and
now that's just being rude.
Yeah, we should respect those boundaries, but it shouldn't mean that the topic can't be communicated. Same with Christianity. Christianity is not a relationship of imposition. It is a relationship of proposition. So if you happen to be into witchcraft and we're having conversation about witchcraft, and then I happen to bring up Christianity, and you propose that I get to know witchcraft, I propose you get to know Jesus. It's proposition, but it isn't imposition. You're not jamming your broomstick down my throat, and I'm not jamming a Bible down your throat. But why does there have to be no conversation?
Well, and I think the reality is that there's topics about other religions in workplaces that are tolerated. People talk about Islam in the workplace and have a discussion about it and all that. And there's no,
I don't know. I've never been in a work.
It just is. It's a big double standard, and more importantly, it's a violation of freedom of speech. Like maybe it's not, because it's a private workplace. I don't know.
Right? Is it so? The employer has to be careful because, well, you don't want to get sued by somebody. But then, what's the lawsuit based on? Oh, you talk to me, so I'm suing you. What? I mean, what's the suit? What's the harm?
It would be harassment. Would be the suit.
Okay, yeah. I continue to hammer you, and I ripped out my little Gideon pages of my little Bible and I threw them over the cubicle at you. Okay, that's taking it too far. That's right. There's a line, but there's a line. And I mean, you got sexual harassment. You got all yeah.
I mean, all the more reason to run your own business, because I talk about Jesus because I want to. And I do it when the person is ready and I have permission. But I've got a client in Florida that he's doing better now for sure, but been coaching him and prayed with him a couple times on the phone. He's definitely not a believer. And through prayer and through God answering prayer, there's big things that are happening in his business that have really turned things around for him. They're awesome. God gave me this brilliant idea to help him with finding clients. But meanwhile, I'm like building up the spiritual relationship with him. But if I worked for some other company, I couldn't do that. And in fact, I'm gonna start volunteering for Be the One. I don't know if you've heard of them or not, but it's a mentoring.
Having, yeah, there's a big sign there,
Yeah.
at the school there, Be the One. Yeah.
And I'm going to volunteer at the Linden High School, not LC, but the Linden one. And so I really can't speak about Jesus because I'm under the authority of that school, right? So if I was under the authority of some employer, there's no way I could tell my coaching clients about Jesus, like that unless it was a Christian organization. But I run my own business. I can do what I want. And so I'll say what I want when I want, and I'm not going to be rude about it, and I'm not going to be forceful about it. Or I might be firm about it, but I won't be forceful. And on my podcast, I've been talking about Jesus as the archetype for the greatest leader to ever live, and 12 of his characteristics, the attributes of his leadership. And I talk about the first topic is just be yourself, essentially. The second topic is service. And the third is prayer. And I talk about prayer in the workplace. Like, what a funky thing to talk about for most people. But it's my show. I can talk about what I want. And if people don't like it, then you don't have to listen. But
hey, how your show? You've been uploading it. It's on. Are you on YouTube? Are you on?
Yeah, some of
them. And your editor, Philippines.
I'm just editing now.
She's editing now, and
she disappeared.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know why. She didn't even get her last payment, and she didn't send me a bill. So I'm like, I don't know what's happening here.
She didn't get it?
She didn't send me a bill. And so she did this labor that I didn't even pay her for, and I can't get a hold of her. I'm like, this is odd. So, but whatever.
Yeah.
People make choices.
They do. So we're gonna have to get because we're almost I think this is like our 6th episode, you and I. Yeah, I think once we get to 10 or 12, I'll upload them all.
Got myself a raccoon walking across my lawn.
Oh yeah.
Well, honestly, Derek, I think that probably, if any, there might be 1 or 2 that we should upload.
Yeah.
I still feel like we need to really kind of. I think when it comes to the rapport between us, that's easy. I think we've got a show title pretty much. But when it comes to show topics, I think we bounce around way too much. Like, we don't have any sort of clout behind us in terms of people just want to listen to us because we're Derek and Kyle.
Why not? Who listens to Joe Rogan? What makes Joe Rogan? Oh, that's right. He did all those TV shows.
Right. Right. Or
he kind of has some. He's on like for 2 or 3 hours.
It's crazy.
Do you watch him?
I watch clips.
Yeah, I've seen clips too.
Yeah, I never watch. The Joe Rogan cartoons are really funny though. I don't know if you've seen any of the cartoons that they'll make.
I watched them, but
they're really hilarious. But anyway, my point is, like, I think we want to make it an hour of time that we record, and then of time that we actually post is less than an hour.
Which it's 8:02.
Yeah. And then I also think that, maybe it is being a Christian workplace as the topic, or show subtitle as the overall theme. Oh. But I can't. I don't want to put anything out there yet because I don't feel like we've had a show that's congruent enough.
Okay. So let's end this show with a prayer. I'll hit stop record, and then we can talk a little bit after it. So, Lord, thank you very much for another show of Kyle and Derek, and may you continue to wrap your arms around us, our families, the viewers or listeners who are hearing this. May anything we say or do continue to point to you. May we not be a podcast that imposes our faith on anybody, but proposes, hey, get to know who this Jesus dude is. I mean, he's done some amazing stuff in our own lives, and we can only attribute it to you. So, Lord, continue to work in our lives, guide us and protect us, heal our country, our friends, our family, and may we give you all the glory in your awesome name of Jesus Christ. Amen. All right, I'll hit done on record. Done on record. Stop recording. Boom. Stop recording.